Hey everybody, my name's Steve and I am the guy behind Helixon watches and Helixon laser customs. It's been about 2 months now that I've had this fibre laser, so I thought, what should I do? I should probably give you guys a little bit of an insight into what the laser is and my experiences with it. There will be more videos on the channel of different things that I've made on it. I've got a selection of some of the things here. So I have a kind of slate coaster with just an image done on it. Now this one was clear varnish and then etched. I did find that doing it with a gloss black and then etching it was better. I do have another one here which is a deep engraving. Let's see if I can bring that a bit closer. Get the autofocus, come on. Here we go. So you can see this is a really deep 3D map of a logo. Probably not the most practical for a coaster, but quite an interesting effect. So there's lots of possibilities that you can do. It will also do metal. So here is a bottle opener that I've done. And this was just sprayed black and then etched. I did do one just on plain silver. Not quite as much contrast, but still looks really good. And then I also did a dog tag. There we go. And this is just a kind of galaxy or nebula effect. But when you're picking these, you need to make sure you have the right positive or negative image. I started off with a positive image and got this. And then when I switched to negative, it came out like this, which was a lot more like what I was expecting. So you can also do these brass challenge coins. And you can see one I've designed here. Again, a nice depth map on that. And then you can see another design on the back side as well. These come out really well. I'm really happy with those. So much so that I went out and purchased the rotary chuck. Completely useless. Feels really badly built, and yeah, it doesn't even, so when you put an item in it, first thing is it doesn't really grab anything properly. I tried multiple things. I even tried like little sections of copper pipe. It wouldn't really grab onto them, and then when you did get just about grabbed on, as it rotated, it wasn't concentric, so it would kind of go like this, so the distance to the engraving area would constantly change. And these, I'm not even going to show them to the camera, they are useless. So I thought, okay, what I wanted to really do is kind of tumblers like this, and here's one that I did do. It hasn't come out very well, but I thought I'll get the roller. And I'm not even going to bother getting them out of the boxes because they're so useless. They're both going to be returned. So, what are my thoughts on the on the laser? I mean, if you want to do flat things, then I've been pretty impressed with it. It's a 30-watt fibre laser, and for the price, you know, most other ones are 20 or smaller. So you get quite a bit for your money. The build is not brilliant. When I first received this, I just couldn't get it to mark. I could get it to put the red line around to show you where it was going to actually engrave, and as soon as I hit engrave, nothing happened. And they've got a WhatsApp group that you can message on, and to give them their due, the technical support was really good. I'm from an electronics engineering background, so I'm quite comfortable with taking things apart. And he just said to me, yeah, okay, it's one of the connectors has come off. If you take the cover off, and I took the power supply unit here, took the cover off, and it was one of the main power connectors on the power supply. It just wasn't quite pushed home, so I pushed it home. Everything worked fine. The only other issue I had is the free software that they give you, G-Laser, isn't particularly good. So I've been using a trial of Lightburn, and that's pretty good. It's really expensive though, so you need to factor that in. It's about £180 or $200 for the software. The G-Laser software is of course free. So when my free trial of Lightburn expired, I thought I need to go back and just progress a bit more with G-Laser. And I got a message on the screen saying that my trial period had ended and that it wasn't going to work anymore, which was really confusing. And of course, it wouldn't work in Lightburn either, because Lightburn, the trial had ended. So I was really confused, as I wasn't expecting there to be a trial period. Again, a session with the technical support guys. This time took quite a while to get a response. When I did, they asked me for some screenshots and I sent them over. And they quickly pointed out that I had Lightburn and G-Laser open. And if you've got them both open, it doesn't work. So I closed down Lightburn, and yeah, it would mark again in G-Laser. So it was a bit of a nervous moment where I thought I'd just killed the laser unit, but luckily it wasn't that. I could talk about it a bit more, but I think what's probably best, I've got a little key ring here. What I'll do is I'll go through a design and we'll laser engrave one live. What I've actually done is I've designed a series of these little 3D prints that you can put your items in to hold them in exactly the right place, and they've got little pins on the back that locate with the bed plate there, so I know I can do like 10 of these in a row and get them all in exactly the same place. So what I'll do now is I'll move the camera over and we'll look at creating a little design on Lightburn, and then I'll show you it lining up on the laser, and then we'll go through engraving it. One other thing to mention is you do get safety glasses with the laser. This was the motorized one, which is 150 by 150, and you do get this kind of protective screen. I just found it got in the way, and there's only me working in here, so I don't need to worry about anyone else. So I just wear these, and they are now, some of the early reviews said there were no safety markings on them or anything. They are now CE marked, which is really good, and they're actually a pretty decent pair of safety glasses. So I will be popping them on. You won't need it because you're on the other side of the camera. Yeah, what I'll do now is we'll just look at designing this key ring and getting it etched. So I've pulled in a design here, and you can see this is the kind of build area, or say build area from 3D printing. This is the etch zone, and what I'll do is I'll just move it to the centre. I know we're probably going to be a little bit off to the right, but I'll sort that in a minute. I will get the key ring and pop that into the 3D printed holder, and then just to start with I'm going to do mark or frame and just have a little look, and I can see that I'm too big and I'm too far off to the left, so we will make it a bit smaller. I'll move it to the centre again, and then just select, click on this, just move it over a touch and frame again. So I'm almost there, just need to make it a little bit smaller. And I think because the top of the keyring is on the right, I actually need to rotate it 90 degrees as well, like that. Let's make it a touch smaller. Move it over here, hit frame again. We're getting very close now. And this is one of the things where I think some of the other laser companies with the camera have got a real advantage. So they have a visual camera in the head that will take a picture of your build plate with your item on it, and then you can resize everything on that picture and then know that it's going to fit, rather than this I'm having to keep framing it, sizing it, framing it, moving it around to make sure that ends up in the right place. And one of the other tricks that I've found is the laser comes with a 30cm rule, but it comes in this little bag, and that's a really great way of making that red light show up nice and bright and defined. I can see top and bottom's pretty good, or left and right on as I'm looking at it. Top and bottom I need to go up a little bit. So what I'll probably do here is I'll just make it 73, so that's 1mm higher. Hit frame again. Need to go a little bit more, but I've just noticed one other thing. For setting the focal length, I have these two laser dots that when you go to the right height, they will merge together into one. But it's reliant on a little LED sender, or laser sender at the top, being in the right place. And I've already knocked it once, so I 3D printed this, and I just sit that on there, on the surface I want to engrave, and then I'll lift until that just slides under the lens, and when it clears the lens like that, I know it's in the right place. And you can see the laser dot is it's moved again. So that was my point I was trying to make. There is this 2-dot system, but it's very unreliable because that sender on the top there, very easy to knock and move it kind of out of alignment. So let's do another frame. And now I can see I just need to come up a little bit more, I think another millimetre up. Yep, that's pretty much spot on now. Now the next thing that we need to do is to work out what settings to use. So at the moment it's set to 3D sliced because I did this deep engravement. So we don't actually want that one anymore. Let's use Stucky, and I think max power, let's set that to 65. Frequency, because we're doing metal, let's do that at 30 kilohertz. We're probably not going to need 50 passes. I reckon 5's probably going to be enough. And we're going to do a speed of 1,200 millimeters per second. So I will stick my eye protection on. Right, that looks really nice. What I will do though, because there's two sides of it, is I'm going to import another picture. Let's do a bit of a comedy one now, and shrink that down. rotate it 90 degrees. Perfect. Right, let's get rid of the other image now and frame it up. Spin that round to the other side. And we'll use all the same settings again and just do this. We might need to do a few more passes on this. And that looks really good. So we're a little bit out of alignment, I think, on the other side, on this side here. We're not quite in the centre of the disc. Now, if I open up the other image, this is one of the things that I learned with some of the other ones, is before you bring an image in, if you look around here, you can see there's white space all around the edges. So what I would normally do then is just come into the Windows software and wrong image. Grab this, hit edit, and just bring in those right up to the edge. Because the outline that it draws in red laser is the outline of the image. Now, it's the image file that it shows you the boundary of, not the area that it's actually going to engrave, which is another slightly frustrating situation. So now I've edited that. If I bring that back in again, now we can see the box that it draws around it goes right up to the edges. So if we were to run this again on that side, when we line up that red box around it, we know if we do the red box right to the edges, we know that that image is going to be right to the edges as well. So I guess the question is, should you buy this laser? And it's a bit of a it depends answer. If you're wanting to do round objects, no. Get something different, because the chuck and the roller are just crap. If you're only wanting to do flat things, as long as you factor in the cost of Lightroom, or you might find G-Laser really easy to use. But yeah, as long as you factor those things in, I don't think it's a problem. I had a few issues with the laser, but the technical support's been great. So from that side of it, yeah, if you're doing flat stuff, brilliant. But the ability to do these really deep engravings, and I don't know if it will come across on camera, but it really is quite unusual to be able to see that depth. And on these challenge coins as well, you can get really nice deep engraving with it as well. So yeah, if you're only going to do flat things and you're okay with a bit of mucking around with software or paying the extra for Lightroom, then yeah, go for it. It's a really good, cost-effective laser engraver. If you want something that's going to be simple and easy, this isn't the one for you. You're going to have to bite the bullet and get one of those more expensive ones. And I think it's a little bit like the 3D printers. There was a lot of 3D printers around in the early days, and I remember having an Ender 3 by Creality, and every time I went to use it, I had to adjust it to make it work. And then I bought a Bamboo P1S, and that I just send it a design, hit go, and it just works every single time, and I don't need to think about it. And that's what I really like. So if you want that level of experience, this probably isn't the one for you. If you're okay with that kind of Creality, having to tinker with it to get it to work each time, If you're happy with that, then yeah, save yourself a lot of money and buy the Gweike, I'm not quite sure how you're actually supposed to pronounce it, Gweike G2 Pro 30 watt. Thank you very much for watching. See you later.